There's hardly a day that goes by when the predominant message that one would glean from world events of that day is anything other than get ready. So in this video, what I want to talk about is how to get ready with food. If you are working with a budget and you want to set back a lot of calories, but you don't want it to break the bank, this I think is the most efficient way of turning dollars and cents into calories and nutrition that's going to be shelf stable for decades.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now waiting, better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything.
Hey everybody, this is Praxis, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a really inexpensive way of putting back a ton of calories in a way that's going to be shelf stable. Now on prepping channels oftentimes they'll talk about getting canned goods or freeze-dried goods, things like that, but there's always the dried rice and beans approach, and that can get you a bunch of calories, a bunch of nutrition like amino acids, and if you mix with that some things like there's some dehydrated vegetables for soup or whatever. If you mix some of the things like that in there, you're going to be getting a lot of extra nutrition as well. So this is pretty much the cheapest way that I've ever felt that you can put this stuff together, short of finding some kind of amazing discount or something like that. But in terms of just getting regular products at regular prices, I think this is about as cheap as you can go. It all starts with a 5-gallon bucket. This is a Home Depot bucket. This is a Home Depot bucket, and I pay about $5 for these at Home Depot. I think they're so inexpensive because you get some free advertising for them on there. I pair that with a simple lid. The lids that are on these, you can get Gamma 2 lids. Do I have any Gamma? Yeah, I've got some Gamma 2 lids on some of these. These are screw-off lids, these things here. I'm going to put a link down in the description below to some of this stuff that I'm talking about. The Gamma 2 lids are nice because you can just kind of screw them on and off. It has a gasketed ring that goes on there. But each one of these lids costs $10 and the bucket themselves costs $5. So you're paying $15 if you get one of these Gamma 2 lids for that. So what I recommend if you really want to save some money, and it's not like a lot of this stuff you're going to be going into constantly, just using a regular bucket lid that either comes with the buckets. If you're getting them free, you can oftentimes get these free from grocery store, not grocery stores, like restaurants. You'll get stuff delivered, and if you happen to know someone that works at a restaurant, you may be able to get a bunch of buckets for free. But just throw a regular lid on there. If you're going to do that, I'd recommend getting one of these. This is a tool for removing the lids. You can just grab them with your fingers, but if you're older, you get arthritis, or you just feel like your fingers aren't that strong, or if you just get lazy and after opening up a bunch of buckets, you're kind of like, I wish there was an easier way of doing this. One of these tools is an easy way of getting them. So I'm just going to pop this bucket open, and I've already got some food in here. What I've got in here so far is 20 pounds of rice, and the 20 pounds of rice that I got was on sale. It was $15 for 20 pounds, so it's less than $1 a pound for the rice. And I'm going to add a little bit to what's in here. Now, you can see the rice is just in its own bag that it came in. These buckets, they're number 2 plastic. Number 2 plastic is allegedly supposed to be food safe, but not all number 2 plastic is going to necessarily be food safe. It could be recycled. It could be pollutants that got into it. These buckets in particular are bright orange, and I don't think that there was ever any intent that Home Depot buckets were going to be used for food. So despite the fact that these are number 2 HDPE buckets, which is considered a food safe plastic, it's never guaranteed, so I'm just leaving all the food in the bags that the food came with. Into this bucket, I'm going to put some of these dehydrated vegetables. I think this is, how many pounds? This is 1 pound of vegetables, and this is the most expensive thing going in there based on pound. I paid like $10 for this. If you shop around and you don't get Frontier Co-op organic dried vegetables, you can do a lot better than that, but some kind of dehydrated freeze-dried vegetables are great to slide into these things because they're going to give you all of those kind of nutrients that you don't get in just rice and beans. The beans that I'm going to be adding are just a bunch of these. These aren't particularly amazing quality beans, just Goya stuff. When I went to the grocery store just today, I bought all of these, and that's why I'm out here right now throwing them in. Each one of these 1 pound bags, are they 1 pound? I think they're 1 pound, yeah. Each of these 1 pound bags of beans cost normally $2.20 at my grocery store, but I was looking around at all the ones that happened to be on sale, and I got ones on sale. I think this was $1.59 for this, and some of these are like $1.69, $1.70 or so. So I saved almost half off the price by buying the things on sale, which is a great reason why stocking a big pantry and buying a lot of this stuff in bulk, it doesn't have to be an activity. Like, people think, well, you're wasting all this money if you're a prepper because you're buying all this food, and what if you never eat your food? I'm not sure why that's a problem, that you'd never have a reason to have food around. I think eventually we're probably going to get around to 3 meals a day. You'll get around to it. But sometimes people focus on the idea that a hobby costs you money. This is a hobby that saves you money, because given the fact that I have an entire root cellar here where I have space to store this kind of stuff, I can buy things, a ton of things, when they're on sale, and that saves me money. And there's always those kind of side benefits. Like this root cellar, for example, can also be used as a fallout shelter, which is why there's bunk beds over here and bedrolls and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so 20 pounds of rice, and I'm going to put, I think I can fit 10 pounds of beans in here. I get some pink beans, so it's 1 pound, 2 pounds. Red beans, 3 pounds, 4, 5, 6. I know if I didn't put in the vegetable, I could fit 10 pounds in here. I got black beans too. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think I can get 9. I'm gonna go with 8. 8 pounds of beans. That's totally fine. Lid goes back on. Oh, before we put the lid on, I have a desiccant pack in here. Desiccant packs are a great way of absorbing any extra humidity that got in there. And I do not usually use these for most of my pantry storage, but I am using these for this. These are oxygen absorbers. Now, the reason I don't use these for most of my pantry storage is I rotate through things quicker than would be required to have oxygen absorbers. I eat the stuff before the oxygen becomes a problem. But for these are true emergency stashes that I'm putting together, and for these I don't plan on really rotating through them super quick. That's why I didn't buy the highest quality ingredients that I usually like to touch my lips. So that's why I'm putting the oxygen absorber in here. So this is one bucket with 30 pounds of food plus 1 pound of dehydrated vegetables. So not 30 pounds, because we only need 8. So it's 28 pounds of food plus the vegetables, so 29 pounds of food in here. And the number of calories, I'm not a big calorie counter, but that feels like an awful lot of meals in there. So $15 for the rice. Each bag of beans was about $1.50. I put 8 in there, so 8 times $1.50 is $8 plus another 4, so that's 12. So 15 plus 12 gives you 27. So $42 for thousands and thousands of calories. I forget, these bags of rice, I think they have 200 servings, and each serving is like 150 calories or so in there. I mean, I'm not a big numbers guy. I'm just kind of like, if you're unsure about whether you have enough food, you definitely don't have enough food. And for most of us, that's a situation that we're in. Even for myself, I've been prepping for a long time, and I've got tons of food in my pantry. I think I could probably go a good 2 years on the food that I've got in my pantry, but you can always have more. And with the price inflation of food continuing to expand, not only am I saving money by buying things on sales, let's say it takes me 10 years to eat this. The cost of this food 10 years from now is probably not going to be I forget, what number did I say this all added up to? It's going to be more than that, because the value of the US dollar is going down and down, and it's a great way to lock in your wealth. So I'm making 6 more of these. Generally when I put barrels of buckets together like this, I'll do them as single items. Like this is just pinto beans, that's all just pinto beans. Wheat berries, I've got some chickpeas and some salt down there. Usually I just do it as one item, but I wanted to do these as kind of a mix, and I've got little labels on them. This is pretty important. Put a label and say what's in there, and put the date when you packaged it. So you don't have to keep popping the lid off, which is a pain in the butt, and also lets in oxygen and humidity every time you do it. I gotta add the vegetables inside of that. I wasn't planning on doing the vegetables until actually 10 minutes ago. I just, on a lark, I was thinking, I'm gonna throw some vegetables in there. But the reason I'm doing these is because if I was in a situation where there were people coming to my house, I want to have food for myself and my family, but I want to have some kind of food for people that are coming here, not just for like Christmas, but like during an emergency. I don't welcome that. I think people really need to prepare for themselves, and if anyone did come here, I think the onus is on them to bring food for themselves and not expect that, your person that you're going to turn into your host is going to, feed you. But it may happen anyway. So I wanted to have a bunch of food that I could use for that. So I got 6 buckets just like this. And the whole thing, this is under $50. So I got 6 buckets, that's like $300 for just thousands and thousands and thousands of calories. So, I think it's a good investment, and it's insurance in case, I get into a situation where I have to choose between being humane to people that show up and ensuring that my child doesn't starve to death, which is, it's not a great position to be put in. So, if you're one of those people out there that's not preparing, it doesn't take much. It's like $40 or so, and you can have thousands of calories set aside somewhere. Just throw it in any place that's cool, and it'll last for decades, probably longer than that. That's it. Thanks for watching.
Hey YouTube preppers, if you enjoyed this video, here's another that I think you might like. But before you click on it, I wanted to take a moment to thank all the people you see on the right-hand side of your screen. They help to support all the work that I do here over at patreon.com. If you'd like to join them and get your name added to the list, the link's below.